What's up, guys? Welcome to JTO Dueling, and sorry for the long wait, but back again with another video. Today I kind of want to talk about the side deck. Um, with we with the ban list that just dropped a couple weeks ago and Worlds ending. Our format's a little different, but it's really pretty much the same. Snake Eyes is still up top, but Yubel is a bit stronger, and Tenpai's got hit, and other decks like grass decks, and a few other stuff is into the format. And I think it's maybe time to maybe relook at the extra of the side deck, maybe make some changes. Um, I've been actually looking at my side deck. One of the main reasons why I haven't uploaded yet, just trying to get into the groove of this format and trying to build my deck accordingly. Before I showcase a deck profile on Striker. So these are just some cards that I've been looking at. Cards that seem like they are good in other decks sideboards. I just want to basically talk about it and about not just for Striker but for every almost every deck in the format right now. Like what would be the best ones to play. So yeah, let's get right into it. First things first. Really like the generic hand traps like Moonlit. Let's start with Moonlit. Moonlit was played but just as another Imperm Veilitard. Imperm Veilitard card. People had in the main deck. I've seen some people having a side deck. Last format, but with how things are going, one Imperm could just end a Snake Eyes player's turn. Um, I know it could last format too, depending on everything's hand dependent. But I don't think Moonlit is really much needed now anymore. It's still nice to have. I probably wouldn't put it in the side if you're going to play it. Maybe put it in the main deck as 2 to 3 off. But I don't think it's as necessary as the once was. Next one, Ghost Bell. I think Ghost Bell's gotten stronger. Um, really good hitting that Flame Urge if it's not chain blocked. Um, I think you can hit Kieran with it too, because I know people are going back towards the Fire King version of Snake Eyes. Um, it's does it do anything against Yubel? Yeah, okay. So this is good. It stops Spirit. It stops the one circle. Um, you can hit Grave Scormer with this. Um, I mean, there's other applications too that I don't want to sit here all day and talk about it. But yeah, Ghost Bell is decent. Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is it's good. It gets Tempai. They activate the field spell. They attempt to search with it. You ogre it. It leaves the field, so that's gone. Forever basically. Let's see. Does it any application against Snake Eyes? Uh Not really. Like, okay, you use it against Api Masquerena, but that's probably about it. I wouldn't recommend playing this against Snake Eyes. Um, it doesn't really do anything else. Against Yubel, hitting circle, hitting throne is good. Really good options. Um, let's see. I think that's really it. Again, it's always applications. Other applications I'm not thinking of, but Ogre, it's like I feel like having Ogre in the side is fair. There's better options. I'd probably rather have Bell over Ogre in the side deck, but Ogre's still good. It's okay. It's okay. Um, Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. Uh, don't lose if you're worried about time. Then yeah, play this. But we don't have Lamersa anymore, so you're not worried about getting burned by that. Um, so I probably wouldn't play this anymore. But it's up to you. Depending on how the way the deck that you're playing. You're playing like a slow grinding deck. Like if you're playing Runic, you probably, in theory, could play this, but you already have a time card. I don't know. I probably just wouldn't recommend this card, in all honesty. Now, more charming Perlaria. If you're playing like a going second deck, you can 1000% have this in the main deck. But if you're not playing that and you look for stuff to throw in, like if you have border breakers on the side or more hand traps on the side, and you know you're going second, this card is amazing. Going second. So I feel like this should be in play everyone's side deck until the new one comes up. Um, yeah, this card is just amazing. Um, Nib. If you don't have Nib in the main deck, throwing in the side is the next best option. You don't have to worry about Oplus anymore, so Nib is always going to resolve. That's unless they're able to make the Caesar, King Caesar. But Nib was Emperor. Cracked so board. Shifter. Everyone's pain in the butt. I still don't understand why they haven't banned this card yet, but if your deck can main it or side it, please play it. I hate to say this. I hate this card so much. Well, the card is so good. But yeah, if your deck can play it, please. Crow. Okay, so Crow is a. I'm gonna just mix these two together. Crow and the Bestials. So both basically do the same thing. Bestials, they only hit, lights, darks, but they also give you a body, which the body can help you link climb, beat over monsters, just a lot of different things you can do with bodies. But Crow, I like Crow, just because, like, since Branded Fusion is at one, right, and if they try to do the play where they full edge Branded Fusion, then full edge the trap card to get it, chain Crow, remove Branded Fusion, it's gone for the rest of the game. You don't have to worry about that. But they can still play without Branded Fusion. But that's the biggest application I feel like that Crow has over the Bestials at the moment. But both are really good this format since the Feedsmith is still running around. Um, if you, I don't like, I will probably still play Bestials over Crow. But if your deck has a really bad matchup against Branded, playing Crow over Bestials might just be a slight bit better than Bestials. Now, I have Engraver in here as a more so of a, if you want to play like sub engines in your sideboard, like if you want to play the Tempai engine in your sideboard just to throw people off, or heck, you could play the Fiendsmith in your side deck as an option to play. Like your side deck is like, the way I look at it, the world is your oyster when it comes to your side deck. You can do so much with it, but it's only 15 cards. But those 15 cards could be a whole engine. It could be different cards to help you play going first, going second. So like that's the only reason why he's just here as a placeholder, as an engine, uh, side deck cards. Um, but yeah, like if your deck has enough space to be able to play it that way, by all means, go for it. It could be fun. Um, could be good. You never know unless you try it. Next, so thrust. So thrust is really good if you're going an approach where you want to play a lot of like border breaks in the side deck. Playing 2 to 3 thrusts on the side and a whole bunch of border breakers is really solid. Really good. It's like if you're playing thrust alongside Polaria going second, you're able to like you can get away with maybe playing 2 thrusts. Because you could in theory draw into it, but optimize playing 3. But that's taking up 3 slots in your side deck, right? Correct. So what you can do is play 3 thrusts and maybe 1 or 2 of each of options. Probably just 1 of each because you have 4 copies of it was a thrust going into a board, and you easily be able to break it because of you have that, and pairing it with more Polaria, you should be good. But yeah, thrusters I think is good. There's a lot of merit to it. Like I was saying, border breakers, you have access to all that. They have monsters on board. You're able to break it all, so you're fine. So yeah, so talents. You can play talents without playing thrust. If you don't have space for talents in the main deck, throwing the side is always an option. The card is really strong. It's really good. It sucks that Appaloosa is gone. It makes talents a little bit weaker. Because being able to talents take their Appaloosa and to keep playing is a chef kiss. It always feels good for you. Feels bad for your opponent, but it feels good for you. But even without Appaloosa, oh excuse me, talents is still a really solid card going into boards. Yeah, if you again, like I said, you don't have if you don't have space in your main, throwing aside, you'd be good to go. You're fine. Good for going first and going second. Yeah. Right now, the actual boards, quote unquote board breakers, Dark Hole, well, monster board breakers, Dark Hole and Geki, they fill the same role. Like in Striker, I like Dark Hole just a slightly better because, just if need be, if I don't have a way to remove monsters off my own main monster zone, just Dark Hole myself. It's solid. It gets the job done. Removes the body that I can't remove and blows up everything opponent controls. Regeki, Dark Hole, but just your opponent stuff. Solid card. It does the job that you need it to do. Again, both these are searchable off with thrust. Change of heart. It's just still any monster that can be targeted and link it off, attack with it. It's yours for the turn. Change of heart's a really good card. Again, I would only play Change of Heart if you're playing Thrust. If you're not playing Thrust, I would not play Change of Heart. With Talent, Dark Hole, and Regeki, you can get away with playing them without playing Thrust. Dark Hole No More. The card is amazing, solid. I don't like it personally, but the card is really good. The format that we're in now, I mean, yeah, if you're going into a Yubel board, Dark Hole No More, their whole board it feels amazing. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about Caesar. You don't have to worry about what's his name, the big Fatesmith fusion guy. I forgot his name, but you don't have to worry about that unless they chain like a spell to it, then chain his effect, target the Dark World no more, negate it. That feels bad, but you did force two things out. But yeah, Yubel can sadly play around Dark World no more because they have the Unchained trap that can chain to it to revive that Unchained monster, and then chain the is it Primera? I think it's his name. Chain the Fatesmith fusion to get Dark Hole. I mean Dark Hole no more. Again, that feels bad, but then you're not really that upset because you force them to use two cards. Yeah, card is good. For that fact. Let's see here. Light Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster. I'm just kind of group them together. Two cards that you can search off with thrust. If you play, you can get away with playing them without thrust, but playing with thrust with them allows you to have more copies of them. But if you're using them against a trap deck, they're not going to have monsters most likely. So they're probably be in there without thrust. 9 times out of 10. But those cards are good. Thrust and I'm not Thrust. Duster and Light Star. Very good. Light Storm a little more versatile. Have no losses, no face-up cards. Activate it. Call monsters to show off. Attack such monsters or call spell traps. Blow them all up. Card is good. It gets the job done. Both searchable off thrust. If your decks are able to play it, go for it. Well, every deck can play it. What I mean is, if you have the space for it, I would recommend playing this. Against Yubel, hitting their spells and traps is very good because you don't have to worry about Nightmare Pain anymore. Hitting the monsters also isn't too bad, depending on what they end it with. So yeah, like the versatility of Lightstorm is really strong in this format, just because of Yubel, mainly. I wouldn't recommend playing either of these two cards against Snake Eyes or the Vikings version because there's a better card that I'm about to pull up when we get to it. Against those decks. I want these cards are bad against Tempai. But they're good against a lot of rogue decks, which is you need something for rogue, and having Lightning Storm and Duster is really beneficial to that. To round up our thrust targets, first one is we're talking about DDG. Um, so if your deck doesn't care about your graveyard, having maybe one or two copies of this with thrusting to your side is, I feel like it's really smart. Because it shuts off Snake Eyes is what you want. It hinders Yubel. They can sorta play around it. They can still make a Phantom and maybe one or two other cards. Mainly just one or two Phantoms. I know they can make through a DD different dimension round. Um. So yeah, it hurts. It does hurt Yubel, and it does almost kill Snake Eyes. I know they can play around it slightly, but not to the best extent. Um, doesn't do anything to Tenpai. But yeah, I mean, like DD. Well, let me. DDG is like a trap version of Shifter. So yeah, yeah, it kind of does kill Snake Eyes. It kills tier. If anyone's trying to play 60 card tier or grass decks, this card just shuts it all off. This card is really good. Again, you don't have to play Thrust with it, but if you're trying to pair that up with other with like board breakers for going first, um, this is good. Just play this card at 2, play triple thrust, and play other board breakers that you're playing. Worked wonders. Now D-Bear, Yubel, Call Fusions, Tempai call Secra. D-Link if anyone's trying to play D-Link, Secra. Also hits Retro Beast, Call Fusion. I think they can still end on something, but I'm not sure what they can end on if they get debarred. Um, it's just an auto win button on a lot of decks. I know Yubel can still end on like King Caesar, like Caesar plus maybe like an IP. They play IP. I'm not too sure. I know they can end on Caesar plus SP under debar. And maybe like a Yubel with Phantom up. They can probably end on the board like that, which is still solid for them. Still forcing your opponent to attack into it, and then you have 2 summon negates off of Caesar. Um, so yeah, again, it's everything is always hand dependent. If they're able to play, if they can play under D Bear, you're probably still losing against Yubel. Senpai they can't really play under D-Berry. Like they can make a board, but like it's not the best board, and you should be able to break it. Um, let's see, grass. They doesn't do anything to grass. Um, Ritual Beast it probably kills them outright, but they might be able to make something because they also don't have access to um Absolution anymore, so Ritual Beast can't go that route. Call fusions against Brandit. Um, again, not really. Again, they can just play on the opponent's turn. They're fine. To a certain extent. Again, hand dependent. If you call D-Bear, they might not be able to do anything. Might attempt to set up on your next turn, but if you have this plus your inboard, you're just winning the game 9 times out of 10. Um, yeah, but D-Bear is really good. Again, if you're playing Thrust, have to play a copy or 2 of D-Bird just because how impactful the card is. Is that it for that? Okay, cool. Now, Cosmo Cyclone. This is the card that I was referring to earlier. This card is really good against Tempa. It's good against Snake Eyes. Um, is actually really good against Yubel too. They all have continuous spells or fill spells that you want to hit when they go to activate their effect. Um, like against Snake Eyes, right? They go activate Temple. They place whatever they put over there. Let's say they put Snake Eyes to Bellstar. Um, Personally, I would hold the Cosmic until they activate Snake Eyes to Bellstar and declare their target. Remove it off the game, off the field. They'd be like give them the sense of like security. Like, oh, I can do this. No, get rid of the Snake Eyes to Bellstar once they activate. But there's some merit to hitting the Poplar when they well hitting the Poplar on initial when they go placing the spell traps on. It just again it depends on the route that they take with their board. Um, there's merit to hitting that when they go flame punch target. When you're going into the board, right? When they go flame punch target Alpi Masquerena, you can just chain the Cosmic there. Remove the Alpi Masquerena out of the equation. But yeah, that's really good. Like, going first. If you're going first, yeah, Cosmic's at hitting the Stick Out Zebas or the Poplar is really good. Or even, heck, you can even hit the Temple once they activate it. But then going into the board, hitting the Masquerena is ideal. Against Yugioh, hitting um the field spell, hitting circle. Getting them both out of the equation is very, very good. There's another. Okay, so also when you're playing against Snake Eyes, when they go the Fiendsmith route, when they activate Requiem to equipped with Fiendsmith engraver before they do anything else, you can just use Cosmic to hit the Requiem so they can't get into Princess. The Necroquip Princess, so they can't get into that. That's another thing. That gets you Bell also. Solid way to hit that. Tempo, hit the field spell. Once the field spell is banished, you can interact with the whole board. Okay, yeah, that's it for Cosmic. Droplets. If you don't want to play Dark World no more, Droplets is the best option. It's one of the best cards. Honestly, I think it's one of the best cards right now. Doesn't target, negates everything, has their attack. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about Droplet. Book of Eclipse. I think it's a lot better now. Going into Yubel, book their whole board. Basically, they're crying. The card is really good. Let's see. Against Snake Eyes, like if you're going first, you, it's like I don't know. Like okay, so let's say you're going into the board, right? You could book their Flame Urge and a few other cards. It prevents them from being able to Princess if they don't already have a Fire Link on the board. If they don't have a Fire Link on the board, Princess isn't doing anything. And even if they have Masquerade if they don't have a Fire monster on board, and if they have Happy Masquerade in the back in the action marks and the spell trap zone, and you go book, they're not doing much. Like they can still make SP load on it, depending again if they have something in the action monster zone, they can make SP load on it. Which in theory, you should be able to play through that. That's really not much. I'm not sure what all they can really do. Just booking that board, it's like it's really good. Yes, it will get a few draws, but you don't have to worry about Princess. You don't have to worry about Flame Urge bringing back stuff if played correctly. So that Tempai book. So if you're able to get rid of the field spell, or if they don't have access to the field spell, booking their board is really strong too. There's nothing they can do. They can't get out of that situation. They literally just pass her. Unless they have the quick play in hand, or if they searched it and you didn't stop it, or Yeah. But they're not really playing through Book of Eclipse all too much. Um, it's good against. Oh, it's decent against uh, Virtual Beast. Grass X, I'm not really too sure. Booking a tier board is always pleasant. Um, Book of Eclipse is good against Stun. Um, yeah. All right, next one. So the two floodgates, they're both at one, but I know people are going to like still want to play these cards because they're so strong cards. Playing them at one is fine. Um, I know if you play in grass decks, you can probably still play Angel Blue Tears and get access to one of these. So like these are still there. Well, in grass decks, these in theory can still be like prevalent in the format. They're one, so it takes up less cards, but they're sacking if you just so happen to see one of them. Um, but yeah, really good cards to play. If again your deck can play around these cards, I would say I wouldn't recommend it because again, it's just sacking. It's like if you had Maxi back in the day when it was at one. It's like that type of situation. It feels really bad for your opponent if you end up having that. But again, they're not banned, so they're still playable. Would probably right if your decks can play under these cards, it wouldn't hurt to play it at one, but maybe finding something else, playing at three, or maybe a fourth Bisteel might be slightly better than playing these cards. Um, but they're really good cards. You're looking just for one card to throw. If you're missing one slot in your side deck, I would probably pick one of these two. Um, but alright, guys, that's it for my basically side deck breakdown. There's plenty of other cards you could probably play that I probably missed. These were just the ones on the forefront of my mind that I know most people are probably looking towards playing right now. Every one of these cards has merit to you playing them. These are all good cards. Um, some of them I would play before others, obviously. Um, but there's a video, guys. I will have a striker video coming up soon. I'm not sure. Well, I said soon. I'm not gonna promise that. After I maybe fix out the kinks in my deck, I'll probably have a profile up. I'm getting ready for a regionals. Probably end up going to the Richmond regionals at the end of the month. So stay tuned for that. But alright, guys, you guys take care. Peace.